All this Polo Cup action is proudly brought to you by Falken Tyres and their associate sponsors. Welcome to final round action of the Falken Polo Cup. We're at Red Star Raceway, and unexpectedly, a big thunderstorm coming through here this morning. That's going to just throw a little spanner in the works. But the most important factor today is who's going to take this championship. Jeff Kruger started the season out really well and has led literally the way through this championship. Unfortunately, in the mid part, he got caught and passed by Brad Liebenberg. And there's been a bit of cat and mouse between the two of them at all of the races leading up to this final round at Red Star. In Cape Town, with 3 races, Brad took all 3 wins. But a technical infringement gave him a little bit of a disqualification, and it gave Jeff Kruger the lead of only 5 points coming into this round. There are 2 bonus points available for fastest laps today. There are 2 bonus points available for pole position, which means literally it could be 1 point going into the first race of today. Let's go and find out what happens in the qualifying, and the all-important qualifying, particularly with the weather conditions as you can see in the background. It's going to make it very, very difficult. Red Star Racers already catching a couple of drivers out there. Reinoff van Heerden, one of the first spinners in these tricky conditions. But as we got into qualifying, the rain stopped and a dry line started to form. You can see some adjustments being made to a couple of cars in terms of tyre pressures, and a couple of adjustments as well there from Dean Fenter, who got out of shape at the bottom end of the circuit. His first time out in a Polo. And as the flag came out, it was all about Brad Liebenberg setting pole position for both 1 and 2. You've just got pole position in both. So it means basically you get those 2 bonus points. That's a nice way to start the day and just bring it down to 3 points now between yourself and Jeff at the front.
Yeah, good start to the day. I think we just need to carry on now. Obviously, got to get super pole. This one lap is going to be one of the biggest ones of the year, obviously, to try and get pole position. Obviously, the prize money is always nice to come along with it, but at this stage of the championship and this stage of the year, I mean, we're just there for pole position.
Keegan Campos leads them out now to go and get the Super Pole, the all-important Super Pole now. Dario Bussi looking for that Rookies Championship. And Arnie Evelyn definitely going to be a man to watch out for in 2020. A little bit off-road there from him. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Brad Liebenberg pushing hard to try and stay at the front end. But Jeff Kruger is pushing harder and takes Super Pole. Let's get down to the all-important draw now for race number 2. Liebenberg decides to draw first, and he moves down 1 row of the grid to 3rd place. Jeff Kruger looking for that pole position. Unfortunately, he gets 5th place. That's definitely not where he wants to be. This championship battle is up for grabs. Linda Besaidenote looking for a little bit of lady luck there from our Falcon lady. He moves to the 2nd row alongside Brad Liebenberg. Dario Bussi to the back of the grid. That's a big pity for him. Has Campos got it? Yes, he has. He goes on to pole. Which means 2nd place is going to be in the hands of Arnie Evelyn. Arnie Evelyn also getting the 3,000 Rand from ATS. And the Super Pole goes to Jeff Kruger. Well, he banked that lap perfectly. Unfortunately, didn't get the fastest and the 2nd fastest laps, which means the points are now 3 going into race 1.
Yeah, Greg, that was actually the plan for qualifying, to get the pole in the main quali and then get 2nd for Super Pole, because of the way the grid is lined up, I thought it'd be better to start off 2nd, to be honest. No, but we're still on the front row, which gives us a good fighting chance. Like you said, the points are now down to 3, so yeah, we're going to have to keep a calculator in the car at all times and watch those fastest laps. But yeah, let's race on. Let's see what happens.
So how's that for a turnaround? Coming into the round, 5 points. Going into race 1, 3 points. You heard it from both drivers. Calculators are going to be flying. There's going to be some calculations happening on every single corner. And hopefully, with the 5 push-to-passes they've got and those big straights, either one of these 2 boys can go at it and put on a fantastic show. Join us after the break for race 1 of Falken Polo Cup's final round. Welcome back to the Red Star Raceway and the penultimate round now of the Falken Polo Cup. We've seen Brad Liebenberg put it onto pole position, and let's see whether or not any one of these guys can go at it. The most important factor today, of course, is there are 3 points going into this penultimate race between Jeff Kruger and Brad Liebenberg. Liebenberg at this stage is the man on pole. Jeff Kruger's got it all to do. Let's see whether or not he can make up that ground now and see if he can maybe just get a little bit more of an advantage going into the final race of the season in a couple of minutes' time. First of all, we're going to sort out what's going to happen here in the penultimate race. You can see everybody looking fired up and eyes on the prize, even in the Hammond team. As they roll out now, it's going to be an interesting grid at the front end with Kruger and Liebenberg on the front row. Clinton Besaidenote alongside Keegan Campos, and then Dario Bussi and Arnie Evelyn. Matt Shorter and Delon Thompson just ahead of Jana van der Westhuizen and Chris Shorter. Machotzi a little bit further down and Alton Bo alongside him. Then it's Kriel and Swart. Oates with gearbox problems. Iceball further back. And you've got Damon Hammond, Nathan Hammond alongside each other with Rainer van Heerden leading out the Masters, Dean Fenter and Bob Neal. Final instructions here to Jeff Kruger. He looks like he's good to go. Brad Liebenberg is definitely ready to go for this one. Looking for potentially 3 championships this season. Lights out, and they go down towards turn 1. Great start from Kruger. Not such a good start. A little bit of wheel spin there from the Hello Mobile car. The rest of the cars come streaming through. Good start there from Rainer van Heerden. He tucks in between a couple of cars heading into turn 1 here as we go clockwise around Red Star Raceway. On the inside, Elton Bow already getting physical, getting up the inside. Looks like there of Yuri Swart. Yuri Swart in the G Energy car getting a little bit of forceful maneuvers there and eventually just having to settle for a position behind. We're on board with Chris Short as they go through turn 3. He loses a little bit of ground and opens up the door. Delon Thompson comes up his inside. Oh, he gets forced onto the grass there by Machotsi. Machotsi just giving him a little bit of room to play with there, allows him back on, and he slots in behind Delon Thompson. They go into turn 5 now. It's Campos who's got some pressure coming from the first of the Total cars there. And that, here we can see from Campos's point of view, looking front and back into the clutches there of Ari. And right ahead of him, pushing hard to try and close down on Clinton Mercedes. Arnie Neveling has got to grips with these Polos very quickly. He's definitely going to be a threat next season. And certainly someone to watch out for in this category. Big problems at the front end as Kruger gets closed down by Liebenberg. Liebenberg doing everything right now. He's got to try and stay ahead. Maybe take a victory away from Jeff Kruger and head into the final round. Oh, problems! Looks like that is, big issues there. Yuri Swart and looks like Rice Asmal out of this one, and red flag has been called. There's been a big incident at the bottom end of the circuit. This is what it looked like from Justin Oates' point of view. He turns into the hairpin. There's a bang from behind. He had nowhere to go. He gets sent to the sideline. Everybody tries to avoid, but I think there was a big mix-up here between Rice Asmal. Yes, Asmal under braking, loses it completely, takes out unceremoniously the Total car there of Justin Oates, and the 3 of them getting put onto the sideline. Yuri Swart, I think, was just in the way and had nowhere to go. So the restart now for the Polos, down towards turn 1. Once again, it's Kruger who looks to get the whole shot. How many of those push-to-passes did he use in the first start? Has he got a couple left now? It's one of the big gambles you've got to take in the top 3 in the championship, having 1 less than everybody else. So they've only got 5 to play with. The rest of the cars have got 6. And it looks like Brad Liebenberg might have kept a couple of his for this particular reason. If something goes wrong, Machotsi being swamped there by Krill. Left of him, it's Elton Bow. He's trying to go alongside Bow. He'll have the inside line for turn 4. Later on the brakes, but Bow goes round the outside of Stian Krill. The 2 of them going side by side into turn 5. He'll have the inside line for the triple left-hander that takes him onto the short straight. Good driving there from Elton Bow. We're on board with Brad Liebenberg as he comes up and looks for an overtaking maneuver here on the brakes. He comes alongside Jeff Kruger. Watch for Kruger to be just on the left-hand side. You have your screen. There he is. He gets outbraked into the hairpin and into second place. That's not where Jeff Kruger needs to be in that Comcare car. Universal Man trying to come straight back at Brad, but Brad just putting the car in a perfect position and making him go a long way around as they go down into the dog bone for the first time in the restart here of race number 1. Kruger all over Liebenberg, looking for a way past, but look at that. Little push to pass, I think, being put into play there, and it's opened up 2-3 car lengths. That might be enough now if that Hello Mobile car gets onto the back straight to get away from Jeff Kruger. Campos in 3rd, Boosie in 4. Then you've got Poseidon, followed by Neveling. Neveling having a fantastic run here at Red Star Raceway, closing in on the Signature Motorsport car, using a push to pass there, I think. Jeff Kruger using one as well, but Brad Liebenberg is very wise to it. Oh, but can he get past him? Will he be able to go around the outside into the final chicane? No, he won't. Liebenberg just placing that Hello Mobile car to perfection, and Kruger has to just settle for second right now. No answer. Let's see what's going to happen as they come onto the main straight now. Just behind them is Campos. Campos eager to take a last couple of bloods for the season. The last victories are up for grabs. He's lost a little bit of ground there. Boosie has all on his own in 4th. And then the big battle for 5th place at this stage is Poseidon and Neveling. Behind them, Matt Shorter starting to close in. He's bringing along for the ride Chris Shorter. It looks like Stian Krill not too far off the back end of the 2 Shorter boys. They come into turn 3. You can see how hard these cars have to work here, particularly at Red Star Raceway. There's so many 180 corners. They've got front wheel drive, remember, so they're working the cars, they're trying to steer the cars, and they're trying to power the cars all out of the front wheels. Makes it very difficult for the drivers. You've got to be as smooth as silk at this circuit to get the best lap times available. And that's what we saw in the qualifying from the top 6. Shorter now closing in on Neveling. Looks like Brad Liebenberg, though, is pulling away from Kruger, and Kruger doesn't seem to have an answer. Jeff Kruger is pushing hard. Brad Liebenberg has just set the fastest lap, so that's going to be another bonus point for him, unless Kruger can do something in the next couple of laps to try and take that back. It's going to just bring this championship onto a knife edge for the final race of the season. Dario Bussi's had a fantastic weekend, and you can see just how hard he is pushing there to try and catch Campos. But that 4th place will probably secure him the Rookie of the Year championship as well, which would be a fantastic effort there from his team. Behind that, Hammond fighting with Venter. Venter's got Rainer van Heerden all over the back of him. Looks like a bit of shake and bake happening there. Yes, it is the shake and bake car of Dean Venter being closed in by the Hot Wheels man. He's leading the Masters. Battle scars there from Machotsi. Due to a headlight coming out earlier on after a touch between a couple of cars. He's now trying to get ahead now. As you can see, he goes alongside from Elton Bo's point of view. Delon Thompson is under attack from Machotsi. Is Machotsi good enough on the brakes? Or will the second of those Universal Healthcare cars keep him out? No, he won't. They go side by side. In fact, just ahead there, side by side between Shorter and Krill. Great onboard stuff here from Elton Bo. Thanks for the camera work, buddy. Appreciate that. That is great action. Ooh, Damon Hammond very lucky to avoid the attentions there from the Hot Wheels car, but he gives Dean Venter a little nudge. Venter got out of shape, went across the grass, and I think he realized that, trying to get out the way there. And Hammond eventually made a way past. Bob Neal trying to come back and take away the lead of the Masters as he goes side by side with Rainer van Heerden into turn 1. Back to the mid-pack here. Delon Thompson fighting there with Machotsi, Elton Bo, and now Jana van der Westhuizen is in there as well. So Van der Westhuizen having a bit of fun and games of his own. The 2 Universal Healthcare cars fighting hard there in that mid-pack. Shorter closing down rapidly onto Neveling, looking for a chance now on the last lap to try and get ahead of Arnie Neveling. It's been a big fight at the front end. Brad has done everything right. Keegan Campos hanging on for 3rd place. Behind that, you can see Dario Bussi. Then it's Clinton Mercedes. And as I said, Matt Shorter is right there with Neveling. Creel's pulled a little bit of a margin over Chris Shorter. Shorter having to go on the defensive to keep out the attentions of Jana van der Westhuizen, Delon Thompson and Machotsi. In fact, it's the other way around. Thompson has got through now and pushed his way to the front end ahead of his teammate. So a nice little fight there between the Universal Healthcare cars. But it's now Campos in 3rd place looking for that flag and looking to try and wrap up 3rd overall in the championship. Going to be a difficult day in the saddle for him. If he keeps it all together here, that's exactly what he's going to be doing. He needs a couple of 3rd places here to do just that. As they get onto that back straight for the last time, it is Liebenberg, though, who's done it all right. Didn't quite get the whole shot in both of the starts, but once he got through, opened up a commanding lead and a comfortable one that he could manage all the way to the checkered flag and take the first victory here for Falken Polo Cup at Red Star Raceway. He's followed home just in the background there by Jeff Kruger. Kruger had no answer, though. They're going to have to do some work now in the Universal Healthcare team to get him sorted out for race number 2. Campos comes through for 3rd place. A great battle to the line for 4th. And it's Bussi who just hangs on to keep Mercedes at bay. Shorter comes through to make up the top 6. Brad Liebenberg will be stoked with that. He'll be going in on almost even points into the final round. Liebenberg beats out Kruger, Campos and Bussi. And it's Mercedes from Matt Shorter, Arnie Neveling, and Chris Shorter there for Signature Motorsport in 8th place. Great drive in race 1. The restart kind of worked in your favour. Stuck in there behind Jeff and taking the victory, which means I think, on my calculations, 2 points ahead going into the second race of the day and final race of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I got past him on the first start, but as I pulled out, I saw the red flag, so I think he missed 3rd out of the last turn, and yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that, but I knew, we had the pace and all of that stuff, and yeah, I just struggled off the start, even on the restart. I just didn't have the best of starts. Jeff managed just to put in front of me into turn 1. Then yeah, just hung in there, saw where he was quick, where he wasn't, and yeah, managed to bang a push to get past him. And then I knew I had the legs to open up a gap, and yeah, managed to make a little bit of a margin for myself, take the pressure off, and then just concentrate on putting in some good quali laps and using some push to passes at some crucial times, and managed to eke out the margin that we had.
Well, that's it for race 1, and as you can see, drama-filled race 1. So expect more of the same after the break in race 2. Welcome back to race action here from Red Star Raceway in the final round of Falken Polo Cup. In the background, they're making their way out for the final time in 2019. And it's all up to Jeff Kruger to see whether he can get this race victory and something to go wrong with Bad Brad. Highly unlikely, or is it? Let's go and find out. As we've seen all season long, things can change up dramatically in Falken Polo Cup. And that's exactly what Jeff Kruger's hoping is going to happen. It's going to be a tough day in the saddle for Kruger starting in 5th place, but he's got a little bit of work to do to get through on the first 5 cars. Those first 5 cars are seasoned campaigners. There are no rookies thrown into the mix there, other than Arnie Neveling. We can't really call him a rookie because of the way he's jumped into the car and made it look like his own on the front row there, and alongside the pole man, Keegan Campos. Lights out, and we're about to go racing. I'm watching for the start there from Brad Liebenberg. Is he going to go defensive to keep Jeff Kruger behind him? He is. And right alongside Kruger comes Dario Busi. Good start from Shorter. And the two Hammond boys going side by side to avoid. Oh, a little touch into turn one there. Brad Liebenberg getting a little touch there, going into turn one. That could have been very costly at the start. But Arnie Neveling just giving him a little bit extra room to play. Creel side by side with Chris Short as they came out of turn one. Into turn three, though, it's Campos who leads. He's got Arnie Neveling behind him. Brad Liebenberg, Jeff Kruger. It's the Glyco car there. Opposite note, side by side between Busi and Shorter. Then you've got Delon Thompson behind Thompson. Look at that. What a start coming out of Chris Shorter. We saw him go side by side with Thompson into turn one. And it looks like Thompson just able to outbrake him. But there's still side by side action here between Busi and Shorter. And that's Matt Shorter that we go on board with here as they come out of turn five. And onto the short straight, trying to close down on Besaidenote. This is a race that we saw all of race number one. The two Signature Motorsport teammates going at it. The third of those teammates now got a little bit of pressure being applied there on the inside from Van der Westhuizen. He finds a way through there on Alton Bo. This is going to be a nice little fight there. Bo versus Van der Westhuizen. Yuri Swart just in the background trying to squeeze through there on Machotzi. I think he might have got through. So it's Shorter, Creel, just behind Delon Thompson, and they've got a small gap there that they've opened up. Wow, Yuri Swart round the outside of Machotzi, trying to find a way through into the dog bone section. Didn't quite make it work. This is on board now with Yuri as they go into the bottom right-handers. As they come out of that one, it's a tricky off camber, downhill slightly. Doesn't look like it's downhill, but it is slightly downhill here. Look at Yuri looking in the rearview mirror as well, concerned about the pressure being applied from the back end. And the reason for that, of course, is there's about 4 or 5 cars lining up, looking for a way past. Onto the very fast back straight, almost a kilometre long here. Keegan Campos with a bit of threat coming from Arnie Neveling. Neveling, has he gone for a push to pass? Nobody looks to do later braking. Campos saw him brake and then climbed on. He actually locked up. And watching in the rearview mirror, he was waiting for Arnie Neveling to brake, and then he was going to brake a little bit later, and that's exactly what he did, but it cost him dearly. He's dropped the second, he couldn't even drop the third. Here comes Liebenberg. Liebenberg's alongside him. He didn't go to a push to pass though, but he might be good enough on the drive. He got out of that final chicane, and looks like he's going to go to second. Yes, he is. On the brakes, up to second, and Campos into the clutches now of Jeff Kruger. So Liebenberg has done it to perfection now. He's put a car between himself and Jeff Kruger. That's exactly what he needs to do. If he stays where he is right now, the championship's done. Whether or not he can find a way through on Arnie Neveling, who's looking for his first victory in his rookie season, that'll be an amazing run. The Glyco car is Besaidenote. The Munro car is Shorter, pushing hard now. Behind them is Busi. We go on board here with Chris Shorter as they head down towards turn 4. He is pushing big time now, trying to find a way through there on his brother. As they come under braking, looks like Shorter might have lost out a little bit of ground there, but Matt Shorter is closing in on the back end of Besaidenote. Under braking though, Chris Shorter's very good. An ex-champion in this class, so he definitely knows what to do in a Polo. But at the front end, it's just a knife-edge battle here. These guys all looking for the final victory of the season, particularly Arnie Neveling. That'll do his chances of signing for the Total team next year very good if he gets the last race victory of the season. And looks like that Hello Mobile car might be giving him a little bit of run for his money. I think Brad wants to finish with a swan song victory. He wants the last one. He wants to take the title with that checkered flag and just put the doubt out of anybody's mind of who the 2019 champion is going to be. He's got to get through on Neveling though, and Neveling's not going to make it easy for him. That is for sure. Look at this into the dog bone. Neveling runs a little bit wide. Oh, that's not good. Oh, you can't do that, Arnie. Brad will make you pay dearly, and that's exactly what he's done. Just a small mistake there from Arnie Neveling. Just opened up the door, and Brad said, thanks very much, I'll have that. Heading into the kink now and onto that back straight away. Here they come. It is Brad Liebenberg now who leads at the front end and leads the championship as well in this position. And Jeff Kruger, you can see sitting there in third place, thinking to himself, there's nothing I can do here. I've tried everything. He's pushed hard. It's been an epic battle all season long between the two of them. Yes, there's been a couple of victories going to other drivers throughout the championship, which is great to see and bodes well for 2020. Some new drivers coming in and a whole new mix. Looks like Campos is up for a bit of a challenge though. He's not going to let the outgoing champion have it all his own way. Kruger's going to lose that number 1 plate, but he's definitely going to have to fight for third place here with Keegan Campos as they get across the line and start to get into the final stages of this last race of Falken Polo Cup. Behind them, they're lining up. There's a little bit of a gap there between Shorter, Besaidenote, and Busi. But Delon Thompson has got Chris Shorter, Stian Creel, Alton Bo, and look at that, a bit of a resurgence there from the G Energy car of Yuri Swart, who's now got his fellow Cape Townian on his tail, and then Machotzi. So Van der Westhuizen has now made up a little bit of ground and looking to get through and possibly spoil the day for Yuri Swart, his fellow Cape Townian. They come out of turn 3. Look at how tight it is. Look how hard it is to work those Falken tyres as they get here with front-wheel drive and these very long back-to-back 180 corners. It's turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5. They're all 180s and they all come back at you and start to bite those Falken tyres and make you have to work double time on the wheel to get the drive through. Alton Bo now looking for a chance on Krill. Is he good enough on the brakes as they get to the hairpin at the end of the short straight? Creel is very good in that Motormart car. He's also looking for a possible championship, remember, in the other Motormart sponsored car. Oh, and there off the track. Problems for DeLon Thompson. He's been caught out on the brakes and now slots in behind his teammate. Looks like DeLon Thompson made a small mistake. Machotsi gets through on him as well. So DeLon Thompson's day went from a possible top 10, dropping him right out of it now, and possibly even out of the race. I wonder if there's an issue on that car. Certainly not a mistake that DeLon Thompson would be making, unless there was a bit of an issue on the car. Let's have a look at it as we go through into the dog bone. The bottom section of the dog bone, you can see a little bit of handling issues there from him as he ran wide, trying to close back on Machotsi. Alton Bow looking for a chance now on Creel. To this back straight. There's not really an overtaking maneuver that can happen into this corner, but if you get good drive onto the back straight like we're seeing here from Alton Bow, and if you've got a push to pass left, has he? No, he's just going to try and outdrive him, and he is. He's got much better drive out of that turn 12 and is head up towards turn 13 right now. Bow looks like he's got through on Stian Creel. Creel had no answer there. He just ran wide and didn't quite get the drive or the line coming out of the second last corner. This is the final chicane. And look at how Machotsi is applying pressure. He's been off track a couple of times. You can see a bit of dirt on those wheels. And there you go. Some more dirt being pulled onto the circuit there. Not only by Machotsi, but by Van der Westhuizen as well. Change up there between Besaidenote. Besaidenote has found a way through on Campos. Campos had no room there to try and shut the door. And a good bit of driving there out of Clinton Besaidenote. Also another young man who's got a big career left, still in the Polo Cup with the Signature Motorsport team. Campos behind him now into the clutches of his good mate, Matt Shorter. Dario Bussi behind that. And it's Chris Shorter, brother to Matt, and of course ex-champion in this category. Matt Shorter now late on the brakes, trying to close back at Campos. Campos, you can see just up the road there. Remember, the battle for the third place in the championship is literally between Chris Shorter, Matt Shorter, and Keegan Campos. At this stage, if Chris Shorter stays where he is, he's done enough. But if something goes wrong over these next couple of laps, there's a good possibility that Matt could move up, and Keegan could move up as well into fourth. Bob Neal having a bit of fun and games at the back end with Nathan Hammond. Those two having a really great battle. But it's not quite over yet, as you can see, as Bussi now comes back under attack from Matt Shorter, and him are side by side again. It's not even over yet, and they're still fighting this hard. Literally, at this point of the season, most drivers are thinking to themselves, hang on a second, let's just get the cars home, be safe and sound. No, it's not over yet. There's still some rivalry out on track, and this is the kind of rivalry we're talking about. Machotsi diving on the inside of Van der Westhuizen. The third of those CompCare and Universal Healthcare cars. Alton Bow just up the road from them. He's lost ground there to Chris Shorter, his stablemate and teammate from Signature Motorsport. The Ferroto car looks like it's just lost a little bit of ground there. We're onto the checkered flag lap, and there goes Machotsi onto the grass again. That's about the fifth time that Jonathan Machotsi's gone out there. That's a Polo GTI. It's not a Polo Cross as they go into the final lap. Through the final chicane, though, your champion-elect is coming to take the checkered flag and the championship for 2019. This will be the second championship of the year for him. He's already wrapped up one karting title. He now takes the Falken Polo Cup 2019 championship. With that win, Brad Liebenberg seals the deal, ahead of Arnie Neveling in second place and Jeff Kruger in third. Besaidenote comes through for Campos, and then it's Shorter, Dario Bussi and Chris Shorter, the top 8 in the final race of Falken Polo Cup. Congratulations to your champion, Brad Liebenberg.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, just want to thank everybody that made it possible. Jeff did an awesome job. It was just us at the front, really, if I'm honest, and kept each other on our toes and pushed each other to limits I think we both didn't know we had. And yeah, it feels awesome to come out on top. I just want to thank Fast Developments for putting the package together for the year. I mean, the car was unstoppable, and then just to finish it off the way we did, 2 victories, and then I think I got the fastest lap as well at the end there. So awesome way to finish off the year, and obviously with the championship as well, got taken away from me in 2016, and it's awesome to win it this year.
Final standings in the Falken Polo Cup for 2019 sees Liebenberg beating out Jeff Kruger and Chris Shorter in third place. What an incredible finish to this Polo Cup Championship for 2019. Who expected to see what happened there in race number 2? We kind of expected a little bit more of a closer fight, but in the end, it was all about Brad Liebenberg. And he's taken 3 championships this season, so it just shows you he's got what it takes. Next season, though, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to take a championship. With the likes of the young karters coming through, you've already seen Arnie Neveling step up in a big way and get a second place on the podium there in the final race. So he's definitely a threat. Jeff Kruger will be coming back in a big way, there's no doubt about it. But that's how we love to do things here. Red Star Raceway, the final round of Falken Polo Cup. And that's how we wrap up 2019. Congratulations to Brad Liebenberg and Hello Mobile for 2019's championship. Polo Cup action is proudly brought to you by Falken Tires and Volkswagen Motorsport.